Alright lads, so here we are for episode number 30 of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship. This is Monza. We've got a 100% race to do today, but before we get into things, we've got to choose our championship rival, and today that's going to be none other than Lewis Hamilton. It couldn't be anyone else but him. It's our championship rival. May as well go for him, but here we are in qualifying of Monza, and there goes Lewis Hamilton right there, just getting in the way as we try and nick a bit of his slipstream there. So this is Q1, and we got through that fairly easily, so cutting to Q2 now, going on the option tyres. Looking a little bit dire at the moment on a very good lap, only just managing to get to Q3, and now here we go. Once again, our banker hasn't been that great in terms of position, but we've been putting in really good lap times here. I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess the overall field is very quick today, setting a 25.2, which is only 3/10 away from pole position there, is a very good lap, and for us to only end up in 7th just shows how close this field is at this round here. So we qualified P7, 2 places in front of our teammate, only 3/10 away. It just shows how close this field is. I can't stress enough how good that lap was, but yeah, 7th place. Let's go to the race. So, this is the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. We've got a fully wet session here for the start of this race. Waiting for those 5 red lights to go out now, and away we go here in Monza. Looks like the wheel spin has been pretty bad, even so for Hamilton. So it just shows how tricky it is to get these cars off the line here. We're getting overtaken by a Williams and a Lotus coming into turn 1. It's a very long run into turn 1, so if you get a bad start, it can cost you big time. And we've lost part of our front left end plate on Nico Hülkenberg's rear wing there, so that's a bit disappointing. But so far through this first opening sequence of corners, we've managed to gain back a little bit of ground. Now back up into P12 as Grosjean tries to overtake us on the inside there, kind of backs out of it there. So first lap, not the best of starts to be honest, but we'll try and make up for that as we come into the first of these chicanes here in the middle sector. Looks like we've picked up a few positions there. Next up is another Force India, and I think that's Hamilton right in front of us. Yes, it is. We're down to 20 runners in the Grand Prix already, so somebody has had a bit of a crash here on the opening lap. But cutting to the end of the first lap here, we can see Rosberg going slowly through the Ascari chicane, and once again battling with Hamilton. Rosberg has fared worse for wear. Once again, I think he had the same issue in Silverstone, I believe, and then Hamilton ran away with that race. Again, it's the case once again with Rosberg. We're going to overtake him now coming into the final corner here at Parabolica, and that's us up into P6. Hopefully Jensen can follow him through as well. But we have a safety car here on the second lap of the Italian Grand Prix. I believe that's for the 2 cars that retired on the first lap. I'm not too sure if there was a crash or if there was just 2 unlucky retirements, but either way, it's resulted in a safety car here. I decided not to come in for a new set of tyres because it's just too early in the race. There's really no benefit in me pitting this early because, you know, the wet tyres, it's still going to stay wet for a very long time. I just would have thrown away a lot of track position if I would have came in anyway. But here we are getting ready for the restart. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. I believe the Ferraris are leading at the moment. I believe it's either Raikkonen or possibly even Vettel. Vettel might actually be leading this race. I'm not too sure at the moment, but getting ready for the restart here. Could happen at any moment. It's almost always pretty random when the safety car does release you into green flag running, but getting off to a pretty poor restart there. We were in the middle of the corner there when we got released, and we got a massive amount of wheel spin, and now Rosberg is going to try and attack us now as we come into turn 1. But seemingly enough, we do have the pace over the Mercedes at the moment in a straight line, which is very surprising. Lap 5, we can see there's a massive cluster of cars, massive traffic jam as we go through the second chicane there. And now we're trying to go up the inside of Hamilton, can't quite get the move done. We've overshot the first of the Lesmos, and now Nico Rosberg has got back up the inside. But then he goes defensive for the second Lesmo, and now we're going to have a run at him around the outside now, which turns to the inside now for the Ascari chicane. And now I think Jensen is going to try and follow him through. Come on, Jensen, let's go. Let's try and get both these McLaren cars onto the podium in this race, possibly. But so far, lap 5, we can see Hamilton is continuing to move forward, but we have another safety car in this race. It's the second in just 5 laps. What the hell is going on with these AI cars? A further 2 more cars have retired, so with the realistic damage mod, with the narrowness of this track here in Monza, it's really catching out a lot of cars. And looking at the race director here, we can see Bottas, Perez, Gutierrez, and Verne have retired by whatever means, either crashing or just having unlucky mechanical failures. They're out of the Grand Prix, and now we're getting ready for another restart here. I once again opted not to come in for a new set of tyres, and once again, the restart for us has been absolutely atrocious. Rosberg having another run at us coming into turn 1, but we maintain position for now. Lap 14, we can see there's a bit of debris there on the second Lesmo there. So we'll see whose front wing that belongs to in a few seconds here. As we can see, Hamilton has dropped to P5 now, and he's going very slowly now through Parabolica. I think that might have been him who lost his front wing. We'll see in just a few seconds here, as Hamilton has pulled off into the pit lane. He has lost his front wing, and on lap 15 here, Hamilton is going to drop outside the points here, but potentially he could switch on to a set of intermediates because the track is drying. And I sort of had that thought in the last 60 seconds, and I thought maybe I'll just cover off Hamilton, you know, just in case he's gone onto the intermediates as well, because the track condition has sort of improved in the last, 5 or so minutes. So I thought it was time to be a bit of a pioneer here, jumping onto the intermediate tyres. I might actually gain a few positions here by jumping onto a new set of tyres here. So fingers crossed it can work, and if the track does in fact dry up, then it's only going to be a matter of just a few laps before we could see us onto the dry tyres once again for the first time this race. So lap 16, catching up to the back of Maldonado, who's going pretty slowly through the 2 Lesmos now. We have to be very patient now. We can't afford to just rush this overtake, but we get it done. Lost a little bit of time there, but we would have lost even more time if we would have, tried to rush it and potentially lose a front wing or something like that. But lap 16, now we can see the rest of the field has reacted to this, and now we'll see if we actually gained any time over the field. And it looks like we have. We're now into the podium positions. Before we were only in P6, so we've effectively gained 3 spots and a bunch of time on the leaders. So we can see Sebastian Vettel, who is effectively second right in front of us, as lap 17. There's now a dry line starting to appear, and now this is sort of a happy hour phase of the Grand Prix. Everyone was setting purple lap times. Raikkonen, Vettel, Alonso, Rosberg, myself, we're all going purple every single sector. It was actually very interesting to see the gaps between everyone just fluctuate through this stint now, and I think it's time to come on for a set of dry tyres almost. The intermediates are now starting to overheat a little bit, and now Rosberg out of nowhere. I had no idea Rosberg was right behind me. Just that little mistake there just allowed him to get past me. Now we're going to try and go back up the inside into the Parabolica curve, and we've done so with Alonso following through there. And now he's overtaken Rosberg, and he's potentially going to overtake us as well on the start-finish straight here. Raikkonen is flying there on a 1 minute 30.9, and now we could potentially lose 2 places here on the start-finish straight, but the straight line speed of the McLaren is very good today, considering we didn't actually put in a fresh power unit for this round. I've actually opted to save it for later on in the championship when we might need it. But lap 21, it looks like the track is just about dry enough for option tyres now. So we're coming in. I believe we're going to be the first in the field to do this as well. So once again, taking another risk. I really want to win this race if I can, and hopefully this aggressive strategy call could win us this race here. 3.7 second pit stop there. We can see on the timing sectors there that Hamilton is down in 13th place at the moment. So if we could win this race, that'd be a massive swing in the championship, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much. It looks like the track, yeah, it's dried out pretty much at the perfect time now. So the guys on intermediate tyres now are going to struggle for this next lap as they bring in their intermediate tyres. So we could potentially gain maybe 5, maybe 10 seconds on these guys if the time loss is bad enough. But luckily for those guys, Monza isn't really a long lap time, is it? 1 minute and 30 seconds, so they might not lose too much time. But in saying that, we'll see how much we can gain through this middle sector now. Kvyat going slowly. Everyone else, as I said, is on the intermediate tyres, but we're going to have to overtake Kvyat here, and we have to go to the inside where the wet puddles are, and that's going to hurt our, I guess, tyre temperatures a little bit, but it was a little bit risky. We got the move done, and next up is Adrian Sutil. Again, we're going to have to go off the dry racing line to overtake him, but it doesn't cost us too much there. So into P9. Next up is Daniel Ricciardo, who goes so slowly into the Parabolica curve, and we get the move done into 8th place. So yeah, Ricciardo broke like literally 100 meters too early. It just shows how the AI can really struggle on the wrong tires, but rejoining on the track, it looks like we've jumped Vettel for 2nd place, so we've gained about 5-6 seconds in that pit stop phase just by coming in 1 lap earlier, and that's helped us out massively in this race so far. Lap 29, we're lapping Jules Bianchi there, and next up is Kimi Räikkönen. He's about 13 or 14 seconds up the road, and for the rest of this stint, we were sort of catching him a little bit at about, I don't know, half a second a lap, but then the tyres started to go off ever so slightly. Alonso was actually the fastest car in the field. He actually started to close me in, and now we're battling with him for 2nd place. We now have 16 runners in the Grand Prix, so that's something interesting to note. But Alonso using the slipstream to good effect, and he's going to try and pass us around the outside now, coming into this middle sector chicane. So we do have the inside line. We should be able to maintain 2nd for now. It's only going to be a matter of time before we actually think about making another pit stop. Going on to the options, it was an aggressive call. We of course can't make it to the end of the race on one set of options, so we have to come in very soon. And I actually put the car down into lean there. I used it as a bit of a tactic to, I don't know, maybe go a little bit faster, let Alonso go through, and then use the slipstream to actually gain time. And it sort of helped for a little bit, but then now we're coming in for our set of option tyres. I believe the AI are coming in on lap 37 or 38. So once again, we're going on a aggressive kind of strategy here, trying to really get closer to Räikkönen if we can, but the tyre wear may be a little bit of a problem at the end of the race. So long as we get actual track position, I think we should be fine. But rejoining on the track, it's a fairly clear path now, and hopefully we can get back in front of Alonso once he makes his pit stop as well. So lap 36, we're coming to lap, I think that's Marcus Ericsson there in the Caterham. We move off to the right, but then he moves off to the right as well, and we've lost our front wing. We've got a front left puncture as well, and that has completely ruined our race here in Monza. We've had to come straight in for a new set of tyres. Going on to the options once again, we will not win this race anymore now. We've got no chance because we're going to drop now possibly outside the top 10. I'm not too sure. The car behind us is Lewis Hamilton, I believe. Once we rejoin, yeah, Sutil has overtaken us. So Lewis Hamilton, who was 30 seconds back, is now going to be right behind us now for the rest of this race, but he's yet to make his stop, so we'll see how that plays out. But now lap 47, we've been grinding away with the lap time, setting fastest lap after fastest lap. This was a bit of a flurry from us, and now we finally caught up to Jenson Button. This is the closest we've been all race. We have DRS, and now we have a safety car here on lap 48. There's only 5 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and this could potentially turn it completely on its head. Lewis Hamilton is about 25 seconds behind, so I'm going to come in for a new pit stop, new set of tyres, and have an absolute blast at the end of this race. But Jenson Button is going so slowly in this cooldown lap. I just want him to get on with it so I can get into the pits and change my tyres without losing a position, because we only just have enough of a gap to Lewis Hamilton that we can get a free pit stop here in this safety car period. So going on to a set of option tyres, I think it's our final fresh or newish set that we've got left in the tyre bank, and we're going to use that to full advantage. We're actually one lap down on fuel as well, so that was also becoming an issue, and this safety car has sort of, I guess, saved us in all aspects really. But now lap 50, we've got 3 laps to go after this one, so it's going to be an absolute sprint. However, we have Lewis Hamilton right behind us, our championship rival. We need to move forward and try and cover off Hamilton, because I know that Hamilton is going to try and move forward as well. He's in a Mercedes car, so it's obviously going to be very easy for Hamilton to gain some position. So here we go for the restart. It looks like Button has got off to a really nice one there. He's gapped us by almost a second as some lap cars get out of the way. Lap 52, it's almost taken us a whole lap for us to actually catch Jenson there, because I think we got suffered with a bit of cold tyres in the first lap really. And now I think we'll finally go on the attack here, coming into the middle sector chicane now. Use the slipstream to good effect. Maybe go around the outside. Inside. We're going to go to the inside. Try and trick Jensen into thinking we're going the wrong way, but we got the inside and take P6. So next up is Felipe Massa as we come up to the Ascari chicane. And there's been an almighty crash there. There's 3 cars out of the Grand Prix. We're now up into the podium positions. I think it was a Force India. Williams car and Alonso have all crashed. Thanks to the realistic damage, they've just completely wiped each other out. Someone must have braked early, and then they've all just been collected. Look at the debris. It's just gone absolutely everywhere. I don't know if this is going to be a red flag or just a safety car, but we're going to gain massively out of this. I think Hamilton will gain as well. But meanwhile, we slowed down for that crash because I didn't want to crash out. Jensen and Hamilton, though, they just went through it at full speed, and now they've gained a position each. So heading into the final lap now, we don't have a safety car. There's no red flag either. We're just going to carry on and try and focus on catching our teammate Jensen Button once again. So he's favoured massively out of this. He gained, what, 4 positions? We only gained 3 though. So for Jensen, this is looking very good at the moment. It's going to be a showdown here for the final podium position here on the final lap, lap 53, going up the inside of our teammate now into the first chicane. And it looks like we get a bit of oversteer there. And now we're going to have to fend off Lewis Hamilton now, who has a really nice run through the first sequence of corners. So here we go, final lap. I think we're still about, on the edge of -1 fuel as well, so we'll need to watch out for that. But now trying to focus on catching Jensen now. We're running out of opportunities here to get past him. I'm thinking about getting past him with the help of DRS on this next straight, the run up to Ascari. So trying to maximize my runs through here in the 2 Lesmos and then getting a really nice exit here using the DRS and slipstream, absolutely everything to try and get in front of our teammate here, Jensen Button. It doesn't look like it's working though at the moment, so we might have to think about a final corner lunge into the parabolic curve. Getting a bit of understeer there as well with the dirty air. It's been a really bad run for us, and now we've got to focus on Lewis Hamilton now as we go side by side now into the final corner. It's going to be a showdown now between the 2 championship rivals now. We're just going to hold the inside for the final corner as Kimi Räikkönen in the Ferrari has taken the win here. But we can't focus on that too much as Lewis Hamilton, we've run out of fuel. It's going to be very close between the 2 of us, and Hamilton has just pipped us here. Wait, no, he hasn't. We finished 4th, so that means we've beaten Lewis Hamilton in this race. Somehow, I thought for sure he finished in front of us. What a crazy end of that race. Kimi Räikkönen has won from Nico Rosberg, and our teammate Jensen Button getting his first podium of the season here in Monza. And we finish at the exact same time as our championship rival Lewis Hamilton. Adrian Sutil finishes in P6, Romain Grosjean 7th, Pastor Maldonado 8th, Daniel Kvyat 9th, and Max Chilton scoring points for Marussia in 10th place. What a crazy race that was. I can't believe it. The 2 safety cars in the first 5 laps. Hamilton losing his front wing. We lost our front wing as well on Marcus Ericsson coming back through the field. And then the safety car period in the dying laps really brought us back into contention there. And then the penultimate lap, we had a massive pile-up with Alonso, I think it was Felipe Massa, and Nico Hülkenberg as well. Just absolutely crazy race. Probably the best of the season. And then the finish with Lewis Hamilton and us. I just honestly don't know how we managed to finish in front of him. In the driver's standings though, Hamilton has lost a little bit of his lead to us, now down to 14 points. Rosberg is holding steadily in 3rd, Vettel 4th, Raikkonen still in 5th after his win today. And Jensen Button, after getting his first podium of the season, is looking pretty convincing there in P6. So, interesting race, interesting last couple of rounds as well, I must say. The Ferraris, there's been a bit of a resurgence from those guys. They've just found form out of nowhere. Alonso was very unlucky not to win in Spa. He's retired here today as well, but Raikkonen managed to pick up the pieces here in Monza. They could well be a championship threat as the races go on, if they can keep up this kind of form. It seems like Mercedes, they've been a bit all over the place, I must say, lately. So, who knows, it could be anyone's championship. So, let me know down in the comments section who you think is going to win this year's championship, and I'll be eager to see what you guys think of that. So, that's been the Italian Grand Prix for today, a 100% race. it had a bit of everything, so I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. The next race is going to be Under the Floodlights in Singapore. It should be another fantastic race, one of my stronger tracks as well, so hopefully we can break back and sort of break this drought that we've had in terms of winning. So that's going to do it for today. Until my next video, guys, I'll see you next time.